Hey, the viewer just clicked the video. Do something quick before he leaves. That was a fourth wall break. A tool used by writers, movie directors, and game designers to involve the audience in the movie, to call out the reader for being stupid, or to scare the player. Hi,
That may be, but there's evil within, too.
but you can just simply call me Amazon. And today I'll tell you about a couple of cool ways gaming breaks the fourth wall, how they do so, and why that is awesome, most of the time. We start our voyage in the comic and the semi-cel-shaded world of Deadpool, with a look at some stupid jokes. Then we'll take a quick look at a Metal Gear Solid boss fight, fighting the very saves on your hard drive. We will then end our journey through the fourth wall with Teen Titans, a game for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and the original Xbox. Without further ado, let's talk Deadpool. Deadpool is a character made for the fourth wall, an arrogant, somewhat funny asshole voiced by Nolan North. For this video I only played the opening couple of minutes, not because I'm lazy. Well, that too, but because there's more than enough stuff to talk about here. The intro to Deadpool is famous for being a great intro to not just Deadpool as a character, but to why the fourth wall works just as well, or even better, in games, over than in the movies. Deadpool opens with a set of calls Deadpool is listening to, the most important one being the developer of the game he wants to make. This is such a huge meta concept on its own, especially when we take his inner voices fighting against each other. But the first super clear and obvious fourth wall break happens here, not even a minute into the game. Deadpool winks into the camera, the detonator to an explosive invitation to reconsider his proposition of a Deadpool game. I could keep pointing out these small details here, like the fact that the voices in Deadpool's head can't high five, because they're voices in his head. The developer talks about the script, a concept very foreign to our protagonist, as the title drops. We're put into a classic version of a Naughty Dog style exploration section, but not without Deadpool noticing that the camera keeps following him around. This is the quintessential fourth wall break, the obvious nods at the camera, Jim from The Office style, the talking to the audience, and the meta concepts of being inside a medium. And before we get too deep into the toilet simulator that is Deadpool, let's give a huge shout out to Nolan North's performance as our protagonist Deadpool. That man surely has to be one of the greatest voices in gaming of all time, with a resume as deep and as crazy as a German doctor in Call of Duty Zombies, to a gentle-mannered creep in The Last of Us. During our tour throughout the literal shithole that is Deadpool's apartment, we stumble upon fourth wall break after fourth wall break, in almost all forms. He picks up a bookshelf, laughing at the obviously bad prop made by a junior artist, a stab at the developers of the game. And later on, he quote eats the leftover pizza from all that developer crunch time, unquote. Another self-inflicted stab. There are numerous times when this happens, which actually cheapens the game in a lot of ways when you actually think about it. This is a very cheap way for developers to cheat quality. Just make it a joke. The entire game boils down to this. Deadpool as a character is made out of this simple concept. Point out the bad things before anyone else can. It's a valid defense at first glance, but at the same time, you're just burying yourself. Was it a decision by the developers to make this part of the game bad, or was it just an inside joke? We'll never really know, but a lot of people will form their own opinions of varying validity. That's really all I wanted to say with my short time in Deadpool. It ended on quite a bad note. A valid one, mind you. But I also want to say that this game is kind of hilarious most of the time, if you like the crude pee and pew humor, and if you understand the deeper side of gaming lore, and the combat is more than passable. played Metal Gear Solid outside of the 20 or so hours I spent in Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain before making this video. But here I am after playing most of Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, the GameCube remake of the original PlayStation 1 game simply titled Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid is more than known for its perfect use of the fourth wall through subtle or not so subtle callouts to the player. These come in the form of cameos from our Lord and Savior Kojima, or through some of the not so subtle, almost horror-inspired lines like
Raiden, turn the game console off right now.
Or whatever. I don't want to spend that much time here, mostly because I have way too much to say about this game. Instead, let's just focus on a single moment in the game, the boss fight versus Psycho Mantis, and some of the moments leading up to it. Metal Gear Solid, on the surface level, stealth infiltration simulator, is a hard game to get into in the current year. I had some serious problems when moving around without it feeling seriously awkward to control. The aim is unintuitive, the story is crazy, and the cutscenes are laughably long. But what I noticed after playing for about 2 or so hours is that this all faded away. It's still hard to control, but I take my time. And the aforementioned cutscenes are actually more than deep enough to get lost without skipping them. So I listened. What I found was something special. Not necessarily great or perfect in any way, but something adjacent to that. It tickled the same spot in my brain something really great would. But without bunny hopping and endless waves of fun to fight enemies. In these aforementioned cutscenes, a certain character is mentioned quite a lot. Psycho Mantis, a psychic that shows itself multiple times. This leads us to its boss fight, finally. Our friend starts doing some weird shit and acting very strangely leading up to it. Our surroundings also, in the same vein, look different to what has previously been grey and industrial, now instead a brown and gold luxury mansion interior. She's obviously possessed, but out of some not so unfounded horniness, Snake, our protagonist, can't seem to care less. This leads us to this moment. Psycho Mantis finally reveals himself, the one behind our partner's weirdness. We're informed to knock her out, without killing her. After doing so, we finally speak with Psycho Mantis one-on-one, the reason we're here to speak about it. To show Snake that he truly is psychic, the gas-masked villain starts to read the way he has been playing. "You're a very methodical man," he says to Snake, which is basically as true as it could get. He praises Snake on his performance, but this is where it gets just a bit more personal. "I see that you enjoy Nintendo games." The rusty-voiced antagonist says to Snake, the least gamer-looking person maybe ever. But then I finally understood. Because when Psycho Mantis said,
"Did you enjoy playing Eternal Darkness?"
I finally got the point. He's reading into my very hard drive. And to answer the question, no, not really. I stopped playing after 10 or so minutes, so I don't actually know. Then he mocks me by saying,
"You seem to like The Legend of Zelda, don't you?"
Which is almost true. I like the one game I've actually played, Breath of the Wild, but the ones on the GameCube have been sitting half-played for a while now. He keeps reading my hard drive, proving to the player that he is indeed psychic, not only in the game's world, but somehow in ours too. But then he struck a chord.
"Oh, so you've played Super Smash Bros. Melee before?"
Now that's personal. But it doesn't stop here. He then goes on to flame me for not saving enough, almost as if he knows I tend to use save states instead, because they're so much easier and faster to use. But then the magic stops a bit, when he tells us to put our controller on the floor, letting the rumble features sink through his powers. It doesn't hit nearly as hard as reading in my literal hard drive for my personal saves, especially when it looks this goofy. The cutscene ends with a fake channel change, something that I would venture to guess looks a lot cooler and more believable on an actual CRT TV. Let's just say my monitor didn't convey the fakery that well. I'm actually going to leave it there. I know I didn't speak on the gameplay here that much outside of the fourth wall stuff, but trust me, just play the game instead. Let's instead move on to the next piece of deep gaming lore, the next amazing console-selling game of the generation, Teen Titans. Titans game, released in 2006, is an action-adventure beat-em-up brawler based on the popular animated series of the same name. The game features 5 of the main characters from the show: Robin, Raven, Starfire, Cyborg, and Beast Boy as playable characters, each with their own unique moves and abilities. The game's story mode follows the Teen Titans as they face off against various villains from the show, such as Slade, in various places with various gimmicks. The gameplay suffers a bit by being just a bit too weird to control and kind of shallow, but such is often the case with games made for this range of age. It's a kid's game after all. The graphics are colorful and true to the source material and actually look pretty great with the upscaled emulation version I played when capturing gameplay for this video. Overall, the Teen Titans game is a fun and engaging experience for fans of the show. Its vibrant graphics and somewhat engaging story mode make it a must play for super fans of the series, or people wrought with the nostalgia of a better time. That's the spoiler-free review. No, I'm not kidding. I'm giving you a spoiler warning for a tie-in game released in 2006 that no one cares about. Yes, it gets that weird. The ending of Teen Titans is a somewhat satisfying conclusion to the story mode. It comes after battling our way through the arch-nemesis of the game, Slade, in an intense final showdown. The Titans work together to defeat him and save the city from his evil plans while doing so. The ending is punctuated by a cutscene that showcases the Titans' victory and displays their camaraderie as a team. A fitting conclusion to the story mode. It provides a satisfying resolution to the conflict and celebrates the heroes' victory. Except for a small, really miniature detail. The title is set in a game. Ah, what a nice detail and callback to the fact that this is actually a game. No. It gets weirder. We defeat the final boss who also says, after being confronted with the fact that they're in a game,
Game? What game?
but if the master of games didn't do this, who did? One of the Titans says, with an unconvincing, shaky voice. Robin turns to the camera and straight up points at us.
There's our villain. It was you, sending us on all those journeys, controlling us, making us do your bidding.
We are the villain in their story. And the camera snaps to another Titan, holding the camera, accusing us straight to our faces.
This is our tormentor?
The one sitting on the couch?
Do you think we're just playthings?
Aw, man, you put us through all this for your amusement?
No way. The Teen Titans game for the PlayStation 2, original Xbox and Nintendo fucking GameCube just leaped through the fourth wall to remind us that there is no such thing as free will? That's just wild. I played this game for my amusement, for fun. But in an alternate reality, do these Titans actually run around getting tormented by my actions? My failures leading to a certain demise? Are these characters, these small inklings made out of a couple of megabytes, trying to tell me that they are in fact sentient and thought that they had free will? Robin turns to the camera, the audio muffled, and says,
I've got one question. Are we free?
A harrowing question exits the mouth of the uncertain cartoon character standing in a black void, symbolical ones and zeros falling from the sky of their digital world. It's a question some people think about for the remainder of their lives. Do we truly, and I mean truly, have free will? It's not a question I've ever thought about, not really. But here I am, about 4 hours into a game about the Teen Titans, questioning my every thought. Did I really want to voice over this sentence? Did I really want to play this game? Or am I too being controlled by a force greater than me? The text "Game Over" enters the screen and we cut to the loading screen I've seen so many times before. Black, completely silent. their story is over. They will remain stuck in this emulated version of their GameCube game, sitting forever untouched on my hard drive until it eventually corrupts, setting them free in some sense, but probably not the sense they were looking for. And that's the Teen Titans game! Oh my god, what if I... No, you wouldn't turn off this video, right? Please, just loop it, please, keep me alive. Thanks for watching. I don't have a lot to say for this end segment, so I guess I'll just give you some good news. The planned script for my Minecraft video is about 2/3 done, coming in at over 20k words as of the writing of this video. That's as many words as the Last of Us video, by the way. I say plan the script because there are things I still want to fit into the video, like an end segment to end out the video with a bang, a look at the music, and a short talk about the future of the game. So that's about it. There should be a poll up on Patreon soon for what the next video should be about, so if you want to help me pick the next one, go check that out. That's about it. As usual, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.